Welcome to the Sophia Chang Show. It is my favorite time of year. That's right, Spotify Wrapped season. Podcasters who are hosted on the Spotify platform get the 2025 podcast recap. And boy, did they tell on you. Which one of you guys is listening to Joe Rogan? I'm calling it Winter Hates Women. There has not been a single friend that I have spoken with who is not also going through holiday hell right now. I've been going to bed at like 4 in the morning, but it does beat sitting in a wheelchair in the dark by myself, depressed. So I'll take it. This year we have shared 12 episodes so far, including this one together. 6 guests and way too much Taylor Swift. So I'm going to talk about what I am proud of from this extraordinarily busy season. If there is ever a reason to sign up for my newsletter, this episode is it, because only my newsletter subscribers are going to see the visuals for the Spotify wrap that I am about to share. You can go to sophiachang.com. This is a Low Spoons High Cozy year-end recap. If you're listening to this in March, don't worry, you are right on time. All right, here's what we did together in 2025. Quick stats. After about a 2 or 3 year hiatus, I restarted the show on August 26th. We put out 12 episodes, including this one. We had 6 guests. Some of them came on more than once. Let's get right into the Spotify Wrapped. The most entertaining metric that Spotify provides its podcast creators is the other artists and podcasts that you guys are also listening to. The number one artist my listeners are listening to is Tay Tay. You guys are listening to Taylor Swift. One of my friends already apologized. She was like, I think that's me. And very happily, the number 2 artist is Huntrix. We are listening to the K-pop Demon Hunters album together. We are going up, 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 baby. I am very pleased about this. Number 4, I am not so happy about. Who is listening to Drake? Who is listening to Drake? I am so confused right now. One interesting thing is that the first iteration, I call it season 1, that's the first 4 years of my podcast, was mostly listened to by men age 18 to 22, probably because I billed myself as a frat boy stuck in a tiny Asian body. So I think frat boys were listening to it. That last episode that I put out was the first time women listen to my podcast more than men. I'm going to count that as a win. However, some dude bros are still out there because who is listening to Drake? Who? If you guys don't know why I'm upset about this, he says something about Rihanna. No one says anything about Queen Riri. All right, let's move on to top shows. These are the other podcasts that you guys are listening to. In addition to the Sophia Chang Show, this is my favorite metric. This is the funniest thing that's ever happened to me all year on this podcast. Number 5 is this guy named Lex Fridman. Apparently, he does these podcasts dressed like a two-tone 1970s ska band guy from England. He talks about AI and robotics and deep work and things like that. He hangs out with Andrew Huberman. This fits with my Cal Newport digital minimalist vibe, so I get that. Number 2 is Smartless with Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. This also makes sense too. This is kind of Hollywood and gay. I'm former Hollywood and half gay, so that makes sense as well. This one I don't get. Number 3, Purple Insider, a Minnesota Vikings and NFL podcast. I hate football. Out of all sports balls, the only reason I know anything is because of Shohei Ohtani, and Yamamoto. Just all the Asians on the Dodgers. The Dodgers is a team that represents its hometown. Like when it went to Canada, you saw this white as hell Blue Jays team, and then there was just the most vibrant Asian, Latino, the right representation for Southern California. I was so proud. I wouldn't have even known anything about it if the male in the house hadn't dragged me to games and then I was like, Asians, and I got into it. Out of all of the sports, I hate football the most. American football, not soccer. I hate the misogyny. I'm not saying there isn't misogyny in the other sports. So this one is just weird to me. I do like the color purple. I'm just baffled by this. Who's like, I'm a Minnesotan who loves football, and I'm also going to listen to this Asian chick talk about books, biceps, and no BS. Like, what is happening? I'm so confused. Who are you? You need to reach out to me. This is the funniest one, though. The number one podcast that people who listen to me on Spotify also listen to is the Joe Rogan Experience. You know, because Joe Rogan and me, same, same. I actually got called Joe Rogan once, and I was like, that is the funniest thing that's ever happened to me. I would love to get some kind of Joe Rogan deal. The Sophia Chang show, bring me exclusively to you for millions of dollars. I'm for it. I should also say I really like that Lex Fridman is from Tajikistan. If you go to my website and you look at my books, the second book that's there, it is set in Central Asia. So I researched it extensively for years and years, starting over a decade ago. I am a fan of that region. Minnesota is also makes an appearance in one of my books. Is Spotify just like suggesting things to me? Like, we know you're writing books about this because we spy on your search history. So here's some podcasts. I don't know what's going on. I didn't listen to the Joe Rogan Experience at all because I want to go into this blind. I asked somebody, I said, what is Joe Rogan about? What's his deal? He seems controversial, yet he is apparently so popular that everyone who listens to me listens to Joe Rogan. And so he goes, "Well, he talks a lot about bro stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that tracks." He talks a lot about like fitness and weightlifting. I'm like, "Okay, I'm starting to I'm starting to feel like this is actually on brand." And if he says like controversial things, it's like I say controversial things in private. In public, I just try to not get canceled because I am a woman of color and we are not allowed to have opinions, despite the fact that my opinions are always correct. Uh, this is great. Thank you guys. A little known fact is when Joe Rogan downloaded his Spotify Wrapped, he was like, "My number one show is the Sophia Chang show. What's this?" And then he goes, "Biceps, no, but yeah, I like this girl." Yeah. So I guess I'm Joe Rogan stuck inside a tiny Asian body one day in the future. There's going to be a publicist who's going to be like, "Why did you say that sentence?" Number 5 of the top artists, by the way, is Blake Shelton. I know exactly who you are. It's one of my best friends. Moving on to the awards. This was actually really gratifying. I am a 2025 fan fave. I am also a 2025 rising star. This year my show's growth outpaced 80% of other shows. That's kind of amazing considering I only pumped out 3 months worth of podcast episodes. It was so much work. It's as much work as you think it is. I'm very gratified that that was recognized. This one is great too. 2025 most shared show. That means I received more shares than 80% of other shows on Spotify, which boggles the mind. I am beyond grateful. I just want to thank you guys because that's you. I mean, that's also me forcing all my friends to listen, but not more than 80% of other shows. So that means you guys have been sharing my show. I'm bowled over. Beyond all the metrics and the humorous things, the most meaningful thing that happened in restarting the podcast was getting back into this writing community and meeting people who I never would have connected with if I hadn't reached out and said, I want you to be on this show. This wasn't just me randomly reaching out. This was a very intentional effort. Sometimes you strike out. There are a couple people where I say, "Hey, do you want to be on the show?" And I'll get a sure and we'll chat and then it kind of fizzles out. They don't respond anymore. Are these Southern Californians? 100%. But everyone else, I know it sounds so hokey. The real lesson is the friends we made along the way. It's really true. I wouldn't have connected or reconnected with all these people. And there is something that feels really good being able to platform these people and showcase them and learn things about them that I never would have if I didn't have a vehicle like a podcast. Thank you guys who have been watching on YouTube, who have subscribed to my newsletter, my very, very nascent, tiny mailing list. And stay tuned in the new year. I've got an episode about what I'm looking forward to in 2026. I do not record that far in advance, so I have no idea what's going to come out. I'm going to be talking about why I even started this podcast. There'll be more about my actual lifting program, and I'm going to talk about my journey into traditional publishing. So if you want to see the actual Spotify Wrapped from this episode, screenshots, the top episodes, I will be putting them into this week's Substack. It is the best and actually the only way to keep up with me because I am not on social media. Also, and you also get behind the scenes photos, weird little did you knows about me. Did you know that I used to host events for the Los Angeles Twilight Lovers meetup group? Well, you would have known that if you were on the newsletter. If that is not enough, you get a freebie. A very fun flowchart that, like me, is 100% accurate all the time, forever. It's called Are You Ready for Traditional Publishing? As well as access to an Ask Sophia, where you and your question can be featured on a future episode of the Sophia Chang Show. Listen, I am laying myself bare. If this podcast has been a part of your year in any way, I would love for you to send this episode to a friend who listens to too much Taylor Swift at the gym. Apparently, that's my ideal demographic. I appreciate you, and I will see you just around the corner.